Hi, my name is Demi. I am 28 years old and I'm from Austin, Texas.
What do you do for a living?
I am an associate product manager. I just actually changed careers last year. I was in sales and then I moved over to product.
Okay.
Yeah, aren't you a product manager?
Was before YouTube
Okay.
full time, but yeah, I did
Cool.
work in product
Congrats.
management. Thank you, and congrats to you for the promotion.
Thanks.
So, well, how much do you make a year?
I make a hair over 98,000, like 98,200 something, like 84 or 48.
So close, 94.
Okay.
94.67. So that's cool. What were you making before? Because you said this was a recent raise.
Yeah, so I went from 56,000 to 78 last March of last year to 98 in April of this year.
Wow, so you've been proving your value then. So is that career track going pretty well?
Yeah, it's been going really well.
And you enjoy the change?
I do.
Good, good. So I see. So you said March of this year is when. Okay. So pay to date, which is some of that, and then some of the previous. Pay to date year $67,405.53, and then of course endless taxes and deductions and all that fun stuff, and then your net was $43,845 a year. How do you feel living on that in Austin?
Today I'm rather comfortable, but that's just because my rent is so reasonable.
What's your rent?
$1,400.
I love hearing $1,400 being considered reasonable.
Well, I live in a 2-bedroom and I've been there for 6 years.
2-bedroom all to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Nice, for a 2-bedroom, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so contributing to your 401k and then just, it looks like a life plan as well. Does that sound right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So in your checking account where there isn't a lot of your going and doing things is mostly on your Chase credit card, but on a checking account number 1, you had a beginning balance of $1,150 with $6,849 put in, $6,997 taken out, and $1,002 left. So $1,000 in a checking account with more being taken out than put in. Does that not make you nervous? That always makes me nervous. And I've said that like a billion times now with the show, but that makes me nervous.
That doesn't make me nervous. There were a lot of thoughtful transactions for that month. Last month was a very extraordinary month.
Which is literally what everyone says on the show, but continue.
Okay, so I had a team event that gets expensed, or reimbursed. So that was like $600. And then I took my mom on vacation, which I used a bonus for, so I did transfer that bonus over. And then I'm also planning like a month-long stay in New York to work remotely. So I did move over some money into there to pay for those Airbnbs. So yeah, that should explain a good amount.
Are you going to Airbnb out your apartment or sublease it for a month?
I'm not.
Why?
I didn't plan ahead that appropriately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, definitely the vacation was interesting, but that wasn't on this account specifically. But, of course, on this account, you then paid for the cards of which you spent that money on for, like, a lot of the traveling things.
Right.
So there was a lot of traveling, but we'll get to that when we get to your credit card. But just using Lyft on this checking account, $128 with quite a few different Lyft. We have Lyft, and this is just within, one day, 3 Lyft rides.
Yeah.
And then another Lyft just a few days later. Another Lyft just a day later.
Can I explain those?
Sure.
I took my mom to New Mexico in Albuquerque. We didn't rent a car, so that's how we got around.
Okay.
And I fronted those, so.
I mean, that was probably cheaper than renting a car. How many days were you there?
4.5.
Yeah, that would have been,
pretty good.
So that makes sense.
We also took bikes the other day, so.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And then I see the payroll coming in, and then ride indoor cycling, $71 in a month. So there's a good amount of those. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ride. Yeah.
That's my one thing I give myself every month. It's my wellness routine. It's like my form of exercise and meditation. So I give myself that grace.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so this is physical exercise, right, as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So physical exercise and whatever you said, mental as well. That's obviously always worth the money. And then $71 a month just for your physical well-being when you're making, in the high 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That,
You're not
totally
mad.
reasonable. No, why would I be mad at that? Physical health is very important. And then mental health as well, of course. The lifts I would have been a little questionable at if it wasn't for what was described there.
Yeah.
And then other than that, it wasn't really anything too crazy. You do go to the I don't know if they're considered high-end grocery stores, but the more expensive grocery stores like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's tends to be a little more expensive. So
I did. I got a gift card for HEB, which is the local grocery retailer here. So my grocery expenses were lower than normal this month because I did plan to use that gift card for this month since everything was going to be more expensive.
how much?
Like $150.
$150.
I didn't use it all, but also
Well, it kind
it
of
might
helped.
be worth mentioning. So every quarter I get like 25% off all those groceries. So every quarter I buy all my protein at once to freeze. So my
Whoa.
monthly grocery expenses are fairly low because it's just produce.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unique. And then this $150 gift card, it kind of helps. Well, it essentially offsets the Lyft payments you did while on vacation. So, that helps, right? So we can move to the second checking account. In this one, this is where, okay. It's like some of the payroll go here, some of the payroll go here. How does that work?
Yeah, so can I just take a quick look? Yeah, okay, so my rent and utilities, most of them go to this account, so that way everything's automated. And then I transfer $121.50 every week. That allows me to put away an extra $300 every month, but then also my rent increased a few months ago, and that helps offset the increase in rent or covers that increase, the difference.
But I see payroll on here.
Yes, because my company will put a portion of my salary in there.
Yeah, 351 or 354 and 354, and then you transfer some in. Now, why is there? So there was a higher starting balance here of 7,128, and 3,730 was taken out. Why 6,500 left? Why is there 6,500 in this one and barely $1,000 in the other one?
Because I have a debit card for that first checking account, and I prefer to keep that one much lower than my other accounts where I don't have cards for.
Is nothing automated out of the other one?
Only my, I think, like Wi-Fi, like internet bill, and then one wellness charge, which is like $40 a month for working out. And then another one is like the water bill, or I think it's City of Austin utilities.
Yeah.
One of those.
I don't think all of those itself would. All of those itself wouldn't hit the $1,000 in total. So I guess my main fear was like any other payments besides just the rent, which comes out of here. If there were any automated ones out of that, would be a little risky.
I don't think I mentioned that. An extra $300 gets put into this account for my student loan payments, which I'm not paying right now.
So future payments, you put $300 in here essentially for future payments?
Yes, and I'm trying to figure out if, since my loans are on pause, if I should just put those in an investment account. So I kind of wanted to float that your way sometime during our session.
Yeah, we'll talk about the student loans, absolutely. So in here, really nothing too crazy. It's just some transfers back and forth. And so why do you transfer from this account into the other account? It's just a little weird. Why not just have everything in one checking account?
Because then I wouldn't know what to do. No, that's not true. I need the safety net of having like knowing that my rent comes out of one separate account where like my other expenses or smaller like spending and to pay off my credit card comes from this big basket, like that first checking account, which may not make sense, and I'm trying to rewire my brain when it comes to my finances. So
if it helps you, it's fine. It's a little odd. One of my close friends, she has like 50 different accounts for different things, and it's really weird and unnecessary, but if it helps,
yeah,
whatever,
it's
I
just,
guess.
that balance is a little too big to be in that second checking account. I think could be going somewhere else.
I don't know. I don't think, I mean, 6,500 is not crazy for a checking account.
Yeah.
I like to have 10,000 in mine. But
Well, I do have 10,000 in one of them.
yeah. Well, okay, so we have a savings account here.
Yeah.
And this is just like with the bank, right? This isn't one of the high yield ones. You have an Ally one, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So in here, luckily this balance went up from $6,607, adding $1,099, and we're at $7,706. So pretty sweet. And it looks like payroll comes in here as well. So you're just really splitting it up and then doing some transfers. So what is this considered for you?
That's just an old savings account that I keep. And once it hits a certain amount, I transfer to Ally, to my high yield savings account.
What's the point of this if you have the high yields one?
I just wasn't ready to close it, I guess. I had just opened the high yield earlier this year.
This year?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just say it out of the gate, just move it to the high yield.
Yeah.
I mean, the high yield, which isn't even keeping up with inflation now, at least helps have your money keep up. This one's just losing.
Yeah.
There's really no point of this.
Okay.
And then your Ally one, is this considered your emergency fund, or is this going for what?
I was planning on using it to pay off the rest of my student loan debt, but since my student loans qualify for forgiveness, now I'm just going to keep it as an emergency fund and probably transfer that savings account into this one and then start putting the rest of what I normally would save into an investment account.
Yeah. I'd want to see that, well, actually, because I guess when you take that $7,706 and put it in here, it'll be $10,706, which would be great, close. That's with your rent. I would probably want to see just what you do with groceries and everything. Thinking, yeah, that's actually fine. I would just keep it there. What I would do, and again, nothing's official financial advice, but what I would do if I was sitting over there, is I would put the $7,700 into the high yield savings, and I'd stop putting money into either of them.
Okay.
That's good enough. That's good enough for you to have a 6-month emergency fund.
Okay.
If you had to cut back on things when you lost your job, because we'll get into the rest of your financial situation, but I think that will be good enough. Then you're not going to touch anything and you're actually going to invest, is what I would do. So, yeah, just wrap up the emergency fund now.
Okay.
There's really no reason not to. So that's what I would do. But this is cool. You're getting, just like a few cents of interest here and here and here, and it's really nothing, but yeah. So your credit card, and this is where a lot of the fun happens. And by fun, I mean, how much do you think you spent on food just within a month?
Probably a lot, because I went on 2 vacations and then I hosted friends who were staying with me, and I tend to pay for my friends who come to stay with me like at least one meal.
Probably a pasta.
Oh, yes. A friend that I visited last weekend, actually, or the weekend before. And then I tried to pay for all of my mom's meals when we went on that trip, which was part of like that 800 plus charge that you'll see for an inn in Albuquerque.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that was a part of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I counted that towards the travel, but honestly, with traveling twice and hosting friends, $439 on going out to eat is not crazy.
It's not bad. I really don't go out to eat that much. Like I'm really big on cooking at home.
Really?
But
okay.
I do like I like to treat my friends if it's like if it's a trip or people are visiting. So
sure.
Yes, it's high. It's but I could afford it, for this month.
What I'm curious is, did you budget it? Was this money set aside for you to do the trip?
No, which is new for me because I normally would do at least 100 every paycheck and put it aside, put it in the second checking account, and then pull from there. But I didn't this time.
Okay. Yeah, that's not how I would do it. I think if you can improve on something so far besides combining the savings to have that emergency fund, it'd be, let's budget out what our vacations look like. It's not like you went overboard with what you make, but, just for better finances in general, budget out what you're allowed to spend going out to eat.
Okay.
Budget what you're allowed to spend on the travel, because your travel, $1,795. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money in 1 month. So we had Airbnb, American Airlines, Airbnb, the Inn, and then Z Trip from Albuquerque. And then for the food of Pasto, Eatery A.
Yikes, that one was big.
Yeah.
It was restaurant week. It was expensive. I think it was like $160 or $170 probably.
$192.
Okay, $192.
Sushi, P. Terry's. It looks like you went to the cafe in Nordstrom.
Oh, yeah.
And Lolo.
Mm-hmm.
Some bakery cafe, Dulce Neve, and Ichiban, Austin. But then you also spent a lot on shopping. Rent the Runway, $100.
Okay, let me explain those.
Let me get through them first. SP Vivarori, 43. Something on Soko, 40. And Soko is pretty expensive. Ulta, 14. Amazon, $20. Rent the Runway twice for $155.88.
Yeah. Okay. So Rent the Runway. Are you familiar with that service? No. Okay. So you can rent 8 items of clothing and then you return them. So when I have weddings or bachelorette parties or engagement parties, any special events, I activate that membership to rent those clothing items. So that way I don't have to buy new.
That's still a lot of money. That was $300 within a month over.
Okay. Also, the $40, that was the day I met you, by the way, on South Congress.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But the other purchases were gifts, thank you gifts for hosting me, gift for my manager who's going on maternity leave, not things for myself. Otherwise, yes, it was an eventful month, so I did buy.
Add up all the travel expenses, including the food and drink, and then renting that stuff. You were easily getting close to $3,000, if not at $3,000. That's a lot. That is a lot. Because what are you bringing on a monthly basis?
I mean, that's not every month. I was planning.
It's not, but it's still a lot.
Planned an entire month.
Still a lot that you didn't budget aside for. You could afford it, yes. You said you didn't.
I did budget for these Airbnbs for
New York. Airbnbs, okay.
Yeah, those are fully planned.
For that month of income on just this travel stuff, you spent what would that come out to? 65% of your money on this stuff.
Yeah.
For that month, and it's okay to have a splurge month. I just wish it was a little more budgeted besides the New York stuff. So that's what I would improve on that for sure. You do have some investments. So let's look at this one. This one looks like Roth.
I feel very behind.
28?
I also have an orphan account, which I don't know what to do with.
Oh, okay. Well, let's look at this 401k Roth-based, which is great. You've contributed year-to-date $6,547. Companies contributed $2,618 for a total of $9,166. So in total, since this 401k started, $35,777 is in that. Looks like you do 5% of your pay.
I do 10%, but
5% pre-tax, 5% Roth. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then that is split between aggressive balanced funds, which is at 32% of the portfolio, international stock funds at 14%, and large cap stock, U.S. large cap stock funds at 52%. So I like this at the 35,777. Then we have GLG.
That's my former employer.
Your former employer. Okay, so you haven't rolled it over. So this was a 401k? Okay.
It's an orphaned account. I haven't touched it since 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would try to roll that over.
To this existing account? Okay.
I mean, it's fine the way it is, but...
The only thing is that's not a Roth, and so I'll get penalized if I do move that over to this Roth. And so I don't know if I should keep that or...
That whole thing's Roth-based?
Yes.
Okay.
And so I do have a Schwab account that I could move that into, or I could keep that in Fidelity.
This is in Fidelity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's fine. Whatever is fine. Let's just see how it's broken down, though. So it's actually gone up in value from, this statement, but went up $726. Total in here, $12,252. It is 7% bonds, 93% stock investments, and that is just the Fidelity Freedom 2060. So that's also pretty great. I guess I would keep it over there to not roll it over. Did they not have a Roth option at that company then?
No.
Okay, yeah, some don't, which is a pain in the butt.
Would it be worth moving this balance over, putting it into mine, but just doing a traditional?
You could if you wanted to. I think this is fine though.
Okay.
It's not something that's like a concern.
I just worry that it's just sitting there.
Well, it's sitting there working. You're not adding to it, but it's sitting there working. It's not doing anything against you. So I mean, it's fine. It adds to your overall portfolio, and it's not going to necessarily add more if it's put into your very small Schwab account. I mean, of course, the makeup could be different, but this is the way this is made up. I like so.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this is fine for me. So your Charles Schwab, $164.
Yeah.
Right. So what's up with that?
Joke.
Like, why is that even there?
So 4 years ago, I tried to just experiment a little bit, and I kind of just left it, and so that's kind of what's going on there.
It's not. That is certainly not going to do anything. But you want to start now that you're saving. Your emergency fund's good now. Yeah. Once you combine it, especially, and then you never touch it. Savings is not touched, right? Emergency funds.
Right.
You're allowed to have a second savings on the side for planning for a vacation or something after you have that emergency fund. You already have that emergency fund, so you're good there. But now you want to invest, right? Extra?
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out if I should lean on an investment account or a platform that's like a robo-advisor. So we're talking Ellevest, or Ally has one, Betterment, Wealthfront. So I'm looking into those, but then I'm thinking maybe I should just use a traditional one like Schwab, since that's already open. So I wanted to get your take on that.
Well, why don't you have a 401k? Not 401k. Why don't you have a Roth IRA on the side?
I don't know. I didn't know I could have multiple.
401k, and then you can have your Roth IRA.
Okay.
So open up a Roth IRA. I like Fidelity. You already have Fidelity, so you may as well there. And then max that bad boy out every year, which will be super easy.
Like index funds? Focus on index funds?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. This doesn't have to get overly complex.
I get a little overwhelmed with the options.
Fidelity breaks it down really easily, and you'll just be able to kind of see in there, and just do something S&P 500 based. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. And you'll max that out every year, and you'll easily be able to max that out $6,000. And then you can do a traditional IRA on the side as well with that, and then just pump as much in there as you can.
Okay.
Really.
Another thing is, I know my rent is going to go up again significantly.
When is that up?
So that'll be in April. And I know it's going to go up at least $300, which I've been able to negotiate every year, but I don't think I want to stay there, but everywhere else is so expensive.
Do you need a 2-bedroom?
No. I like having a 2-bedroom.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a way to compromise.
Okay.
So, if you have to. Actually.
That will just really hit me hard with my pay. And so.
It'll be over 25% at that point. I would try to negotiate it down as far as you can.
Okay.
And then I would probably try to find a rent similar to what you're at now. 1 bedroom if necessary. Mm-hmm. If you have to. If you want to continue your investing, you feel behind, you're at a total of, essentially rounded up, $50,000 for your portfolio.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. That's not necessarily behind. I mean, let's see.
I mean, with the market this year, it's been kind of tragic, but.
No, you're ahead of the average for your age. I know you want to be higher. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't feel like you're necessarily behind.
I think it's just the city we live in.
Fair enough.
Make it feel that way.
What you would have if you did what you're doing now with the 10% into your 401k and then maxing out a Roth IRA every year. Mm-hmm. And that's all you did. With where you're at now, taking into account average inflation, so this is what it would feel like in today's money. Mm-hmm. When you go to retire, in today's money, it's like right now your portfolio would be $3,222,000. How do you feel with that? Does that feel behind? In today's money. In futures money, it'll probably be closer to like 5.2 million.
Okay, that feels all right.
What do you want to be at? I mean, let's talk what you want to be at. We can then.
I think I need to give that more thought. I just know that I want to be comfortable, and I'm probably not going to spend a ton of money when I'm that old.
$128,800 in today's money a year is what you can siphon off of that.
Okay. I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing 95 right now, essentially? 128, I mean, that's a good bump. Like, imagine making that right now. Mm-hmm. Like, I think you could live off of that, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully by then you'll have a house, right? Or something. Yeah. So, as far as behind, I don't know. But let's talk about the debt. You do have student loans, $8,700. Mm-hmm. You have not been paying this during deferment, which makes sense.
Right.
But you have been putting that money aside in the savings account to start paying. You do qualify.
I do.
Right? So we're just going to act like this is going to be forgiven. Okay. At least for now, until it's not.
Yeah.
Because that's the current understanding. We'll see what happens. It could not be, but then you have money on the side to take care of it. Mm-hmm. And you can do that. You can throw one of those savings accounts towards this, wipe it off, and then rebuild the emergency fund, which I think you can do in 3 to 6 months. So that's fine, if that's how you want to do it. Do you have any car debt, vehicle?
No.
Okay.
My car is completely paid off.
What is it?
A 2010 Nissan Altima.
Might make sense to start putting a car fund on the side.
I'm only buying used. I'm not buying a new car.
That's fine.
I'm not leasing.
Well, to make sure you have money that's not being taken from an emergency fund for that.
Okay.
Right? So, or else you'll be forced to use your emergency fund in that situation. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I think we pretend like the student loans are forgiven. The maxing out, the 10% 401k, then maxing out Roth IRA. And then I don't know, how much money do you want to put aside on a monthly basis for a new car in the future?
I don't know. I could get a used car for under $9,000 probably, maybe $6,000.
If you actually search for it, most people aren't willing to search for it.
I don't know, maybe comfortably $100 a month. I take really good care of my car.
Good.
Every 3
I've learned
months.
one thing though. Everyone in the comments do believe that Nissan Altimas are terrible.
I've had mine for 12 years now.
I know. But 12 years can be a long time if the car is terrible. I don't know enough about cars, but I've seen that so many times in the comments, which is kind of wild.
Okay, that's good to know.
So why do you want such a cheap car next time you get a car? Used, I understand, but why so cheap?
I don't know too much about cars, so...
What do you care about?
Just safety, air conditioning.
$100. I don't know about $100.
Okay.
Because it'll take you over 8 years to save up to buy a $10,000 car in cash.
Yeah. Well, then what do you recommend?
I don't know, maybe try starting with like, you can do $250 a month with what you bring in, pretty easy. That's not going to be taken away from much, is it?
I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you do that, see what you feel comfortable with, see where your priorities lie, and just adjust as needed.
Okay.
But, put that in additional high yield.
Okay.
And then when it's time, sell yours for what you can, take that money and use the $10,000 you save on the side for a car. I don't know, I'm just thinking, again, I wish I knew more about the inner workings of safety and long lastingness of a car. That's not my thing, but I want to make sure you are prepared for that day when it happens. Thinking in general about your future. That credit card's paid off every month. There's never a balance. Good.
What about a travel fund? Like, do you think I should think about a travel fund?
Sure.
Okay.
And with what you can put in that, how strictly do you budget right now?
Like, I don't spend more than a certain amount on groceries. Really don't go out to eat that much.
Where's your fund money go every month and how much? Typically.
My fund money? I don't think I really budget in for fun, but I really don't spend a lot.
Well, start budgeting in for fun. You have an emergency fund. Budget in for fun, and if that is a future travel fund, that's fine.
Okay.
Feel free to. You could easily, even conservatively, put $500 a month towards that if you really wanted to. You could put even more. Lot. It is, but if you're looking at your income and if your wants are very minimal, you can do 20 to 30% on your wants if you want to, if everything else is budgeted correctly.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah.
Again, it comes to priorities, but you can do that if you want to.
I'm hoping to be debt-free for a year and then hopefully one day buy something, like some property, but it's not looking great.
Would it have to be here?
Here, maybe elsewhere. It would be great to find something here, but I don't know.
How soon would you want to purchase? Do you know?
I want to start looking towards the later half of next year or throughout next year.
For a home?
Yes. Sometime over the next few years.
That's fine. This is when you start making compromises, though. Maybe you don't max out a Roth IRA on the side. Maybe you don't put as much towards a travel fund. I think you still need the car fund, but maybe you don't do that and you just pile up as much money as you can into a savings account on the side that you use for a down payment, 20%, hopefully.
Okay.
PMI is annoying, so.
Maybe I rethink what I want in the next couple of years.
You got to prioritize. You got to figure out what you want and then where the money is allocated is.
Yeah, I will say I do have, I'm very fortunate. I have like $50,000 set aside from a family member for a home in the future. So I would probably use some of that for a down payment.
I think if we get that, save up another $50,000.
Okay. Which I think is more possible than I thought.
Oh, absolutely.
After today.
It depends where you end up putting your money, but you could save. By the end of next year, I think you should be able to have that whole thing be $100,000.
Okay.
If you want to. Be a little aggressive. But
I think my gut is telling me I just want more in my retirement. Like, I feel...
But remember, that $100,000 doesn't go away. It is equity that you still have. And then it'll continue to grow as, one, you pay down principal, and two, the housing market in this area has done a little bit of a dip. But historically, this is going to be a good housing market, I'm pretty sure. That's what I'm betting on when it comes to my own investments here. So, and it's also a good diversification in terms of your overall stocks and a couple little bonds, and then, get into real estate. That's okay. And with $100,000 down, you should be able to put that as a 20% down payment within the suburbs. Boston.
All right.
Or on a condo like downtown. You won't be able to buy a home in the inner loop of Boston with that, probably.
Okay.
And even if you did use the $100 for a smaller down payment, the monthly payment would just be out of your budget.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless it just completely collapses, then maybe. But
I don't see that happening.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. What other questions do you have?
I think I'm set. That was pretty thorough. It was really just about my retirement accounts. I was really concerned, but it sounds like I'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, the math that we did, it did rely on maxing out at $6,000 a year, your Roth IRA.
Okay.
But you should still be able to do that and save up for a good down payment on a home. Yeah. Because every month is not this month.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Take that higher income. Don't inflate your spending or anything with it. Inflate your savings.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Let Demi know what you think about her financial situation in the comments below. And if you want to see things like this happen live and support the growth of this channel, feel free to join my private Discord link in the description below. We'll be able to chat on a daily basis and have a video chat once a week as well. Shout out to my 4 Cups of Coffee members: Abdil Martinez, Mark, Josh Bennett, Clayton006, Tyler Chung, Drew Smith, Timothy Williams, Sam I Am, Jason Spriggs, Nicholas Dowley, Tom L, Jay Freedom, and Hans. 8 Cups of Coffee supporters, you guys are making everything come true. Joseph Strickland, Anthony, an anonymous supporter, and Sam V03, you are all the best. Subscribe and stick around for more. Thanks.